Hey guys, my bad for being gone the last 2-3 days. I've been pretty caught up, and today I'm actually really busy too. This is the only real time I guess I could have specifically dedicated to making this video. So I'm gonna make sure I do that today. I've been pretty active basically since 8 o'clock, so which I mean is normal, right? But something I'm starting to get used to, or needing to get used to. As the day progresses or as the days progress. But anyways, that's not the point of this video. Let's get into it. We're back, we're here, and we're about to do our thing. First off, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time you're watching this video. It is currently Tuesday, April 8th. Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Right now it is 6:27 p.m. I just got back from getting my haircut, which was a walk. It was a hike, just because, it was all the way across campus, which was very fun. And I just, as I said, had a little bit of downtime between the next thing I have to do, so I wanted to make sure I make a video and put that out there, just because yesterday I did make a video, but it got cut off because my storage was full. So I was like, oh. But that's besides the point. Second off, if your day is just starting, I hope you have a great day. If you're in the middle of your day, I hope you are having a great day. And if you're coming towards the end of your day and it has not been so great, do something to make it great, because you still got time and you can still make a change. There's always room for improvement, and there's always a reason to smile within every single day. No matter how good or bad it is, there's always a way to improve it in some way, shape, or form. Look for it, find it, and attain it whatever way you can. No matter how big or small, there's always a blessing within this life. Make sure you're finding it and appreciating that. But moving forward in the video, today's video, or technically what was supposed to be yesterday's video, is going to, wait, sorry. This is probably a bad time to do that. Now it's way too dark. Okay, that's fine. Screw it. Today's video is not going to be a word of the day, but it will be a reflecting with AD video. Simply just because it's been about a week or about 2 or 3 weeks since I recorded my last one. No, a week or two. And just kind of like a touch point of where I'm at with things, just realizing where a lot of my mindset has been, my thought process with things, just kind of overall my headspace, right? And that, I guess the biggest title, or not the biggest, but the best title I could say that I have for this video is learning humility. Is kind of where I'm at right now, currently within life. Obviously, with me coming back within the last 2 weeks of at least being somewhat consistent, it's been rewarding in some aspects, but it's also been a little worrisome, right? I have my own insecurities. I could generally say that. That's like the whole point of me having this channel in the first place, being vulnerable with myself, almost like a journal, right? But in that same sense, I guess with the channel too, I've had to learn, not even just with the channel, but just like within specifically the last week too, I've had to learn how to be much more humble. Not even more humble, but more so give myself more grace. And what I mean by that is there's so many things that I do within the day that I'm trying to change, and more so trying to handle the chaos, and in the process also just handling changes that are going on with myself. And in that same process, I feel like there's always been this kind of sense of double thinking or doubt, or more so worry or concern about my perception of more so others' perceptions of me, right? There have definitely been times where I just didn't do something because I was worried about what other people think, or I did something and actively was worried about what other people thought. And this has just been a constant within my life. And I'd also say that within the last 2 weeks, as I'd say so too. A big example of that would be YouTube, right? In the sense that while I do make these videos to positively influence others, I do understand that some people will view me making these videos and posting them as something that's almost like looked down upon, or more so something that is weak or corny or whatever, right? And at times it has gotten to me, right? At times, especially within the last week, as I said, that's kind of the whole point of me making this video about what's going on right now. But I think the whole concept of learning humility, at least for me right now, is just more so actively thinking for myself and allowing myself to have some grace, right? Have some grace for myself in the sense that I'm not going to continue to allow the outside world to dominate more so my actions and my thought process with things, right? Life is always going to be full of outward perspectives or perceptions of your life inwards. Almost people outside looking in, whether that's, you know, within the workspace, within even your own family, or within friends, or whatever the case would be within school. There's always going to be this sense of, judgment or perception. Some good, some bad. But at least for me, learning something that's really beautiful or powerful about humility is knowing that and accepting that, but continuing to do your best or continue to do what you love and express yourself in the best way possible. And I think that's the thing that I'm trying to most do with this channel, or just with myself in this very moment. There are so many things that I'm trying to change about my life that it requires me to be humble, or at least have some more humility with myself. In the sense that I have to be aware of my faults. I can't assume that I'm perfect. I can't assume that everything's fine and I'm okay with where I'm at, because that's just not what life is meant to be. You're not supposed to be stagnant at some point. However, to have some change, or at least make the movement or have a plan, it's like you have to understand what the plan is, right? Or just understand where those faults come from. And that requires humility. I can honestly say that I'm not the best at what I do. I'm not really happy with my mental space. I'm not really happy with my spiritual space, my financial space. I have so many things that I know I can work on and improve. And I can honestly say that they're not the best. And I can say that confidently with myself and be open about that, which requires a lot of humility. Not only am I trying to admit it to myself, but I'm also learning to admit it to others, knowing that I'm not the 100%. I'm not going to be the best at what I do, and I'm not going to be the ideal person in certain situations, right? And while it has definitely been hard, especially with like more so like an ego thing, I'm not saying I have a big ego, but I feel like ego is always kind of present within within someone's life in some way, shape, or form. Letting my ego go, right? There have been multiple times where I've been trying to learn how to step out of what I'm used to, or just kind of push myself to be uncomfortable at times, and it hasn't worked out the best, and it's been perceived outwardly, right? And there have been a lot of times where I initially like worry about how it's perceived, or how that change is gonna look if I fail, but that really isn't the point of me doing the change or having that change in the first place. That's the whole the whole concept of change is something that you're not supposed to be used to, and you're not supposed to get it the first time, right? In that same sense too, learning humility, or at least tying that into learning humility for me right now is just about being like, yeah, well, you know, people are going to see this. People are going to think that, it's not highly of it in some way, shape, or form. Some people will like it, some people won't. And really just having to learn that, because I could say that, but sometimes I don't mean it. Sometimes I think, oh, well, what if this person sees this, or what if that person thinks that, right? But something that I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn is, your life is as significant as you make it to be, right? At least for yourself. Other people have their own lives. Other people have their own thoughts. Other people have their own insecurities. And getting to a point where I'm at right now, at least in college, where it's like, hey, I know these are things I need to work on, and I need to really step them up. Is, as I said, a sense of humility. And just being able to be open and vulnerable. Sorry, 20% notification. Just being able to be open and vulnerable with you guys a little bit more. Obviously, I say things and I'm very open about what I'm going through in some cases, but I also tend to shelter other parts of myself. Mainly for privacy, which I don't think really requires a lot of change, because I think privacy is important, at least no matter what level you are in life or how public you are. But also too, mainly just because there's certain things that I've stopped myself from doing or trying or even posting, simply because I'm worried about what other people see. One thing that's kind of crossed my mind constantly is making videos in Spanish, which is really requires a lot of humility, and I got to be ready to embarrass myself in that process, just because I know I don't speak the best Spanish. But the whole point of me doing that is to develop some confidence, to push myself to grow and actually be better mentally, and prepare myself for the best I can, because I want to be able to navigate those conversations. I want to be able to reach a bigger audience. I want to have a bigger impact, not for myself. And that requires some humility. That requires a lot of guts, and strength, which I want to say I'm there, but I haven't made a video in Spanish, so obviously I'm not, right? But so many little things like that in my life right now, where I'm just trying to make some changes, call myself out, call other people out, not in a negative way, but, you know, more so living more humbly, living more with a sense of grace, and put myself out the way, right? Obviously, I'm as strong as I can make myself, but also this is more of a religious touch, but I would say, like, I'm only as strong as my faith is, right? That's another big thing that's been happening recently for me too, for the last 2 weeks. I've been praying a little bit more, connecting a little bit more with God, and that requires a lot of humility. I've had multiple conversations in my prayers where it's like, you know, hey, like, I genuinely do not have the strength. I don't know what I'm doing, and I need that strength. I need that guidance, and I need that light to kind of push that on me, right? And even then, kind of tying that in to my whole purpose of me saying that I want to spread positivity, that requires some humility too, because there's some people that don't see that don't value that don't care about me or what I think. But if I truly want to live out my purpose, I have to have some humility. I have to still pray for those people too. I still have to wish the best for them and hope that they find their own ways and continue to open their mind in some way, shape, or form. And that all just kind of comes with learning humility, kind of pushing myself aside a lot, being less selfish and more focused upon what I want my impact on others to be and how I really truly want to make that change, right? And that's really it. I mean, I'm coming towards the end of my freshman year. I've said that multiple times. I'm trying to make a video every day. It hasn't been every single day, but it's been much more consistent, and I'm actually loving doing this. And there have been some days where I felt like just not doing it, but I still did it. And, you know, I'm starting to make myself proud. And that's something I'm really glad I'm doing, just because I haven't been able to do that for myself recently. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video because I don't know when my storage is gonna cut off, but that is all I got. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna hold myself accountable, right? And if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you the next day. I will see you soon. I will definitely see you soon, right? Thank you guys for watching all the way through. I love you. I appreciate you. God bless you, and continue to take care of yourself, love yourself, and be yourself. And I will see you guys in the next video. AD is out.